Okay, we've got with us this morning Captain America of crappie fishing, Ronnie Capps. Him and his partner Steve Coleman have won over $1 million in tournament crappie fishing. They've won 7 national championships. And Ronnie, we'd like for you today to tell us the average crappie fisherman, what's 5 things that he can do to catch more crappie?
Woo, Mr. John, you pumping me up big time now. Uh, I tell you, I'll go through a few here. May not make 5, but I'll do my best. Um, the number one thing that anybody on the water can do to catch more crappie is control their boat on a dime. Boat control is like the number one thing in the whole wide world that people have to manage. And when you're not taking care of your boat, you're either going too fast, too slow. You're rocking so much you can't even keep a bait in the water. Um, you're not going to get bit. That's the number one thing. So managing a boat on a dime, right on structure in the right spots, and putting your hook exactly on that structure is critical. I mean, and I mentioned putting hooks on structure. You know, I can take our side scan hummingbird stuff. You know, the side imaging that's at our hand now. We can locate a stump in 18 foot of water that's as big as a 5-gallon bucket and put a hook on it in 3 minutes, be gone. That's pretty slick. I've timed myself. You know, I locate one stump, mark it, run to the bow of my boat, put one pole, one hook on it, whatever I'm fishing, straight jig, whatever. Decide whether I'm gonna get a bite or not, and be gone in 3 minutes. So we're way more fine tuned than we used to be when we was kids. But boat management, number one, two, and putting a hook where it needs to be. You know, most people when they're fishing for fish that are suspended, maybe, or within a foot or so of the bottom, they cannot put their bait consistently back to the same depth. Uh, you know, I see people that I take fishing on a regular basis that really not fine tuned on crappie fishing, and we're maybe fishing in 12 foot of water, and they have a hard time putting a jig back at 10 and a half and 11 foot where we're getting bit at. They always fish it too shallow, or it's dragging the bottom, and putting the hook back in the same place each time is critical.
All right, that's 3. Got 2 more.
You know, having equipment like if you're gonna fish out of the front of the boat with a pole holder setup, we have some tight lock pole holders that we've just come out with and got designed. We've fished with them for a couple years now, prototypes. But managing each pole separately is real important. Keeping each if you're having confusion, maybe you're hung up with one of your poles. You're fishing maybe a 4 or 5 rod set on the front, and you're dealing with one pole maybe hung up. Independent holders will keep your other rods sitting still. You can detect a bite. You can detect what's going on, and they're not being disturbed at the same time you're dealing with unhanging the one that's hung up, or either if it's got a fish or whatever. So, you know, fine tuning your equipment is huge anymore.
What's number 5?
Being comfortable out there when you're fishing is real important. Uh, Today, if I were going out there, I'd have me a small ice cooler full of hot tap water sitting right by me, so I could keep my hands warm and I could tie knots, you know, pretty quick, versus sitting there and maybe having my hands tucked in my pocket and scared to grab a minnow out of the bucket because it's so cold. If you get cold and you're uncomfortable, you're not going to do a good job managing your poles if you're front fishing here like we do at Reelfoot, and it's going to cause you not to catch very many crappie. So be comfortable, have good warm boots on, good warm clothes. Don't have so many on you can't move. Take you a cooler of hot water, set it right beside you, a small cooler. You'll be surprised how it will keep your hands warm all day long.
All right, well, you've heard it then from Captain America of crappie fishing, Ronnie Capps, and we'll give you some more information in just a minute.